Somebody's chasing kids outside. Get in, get in.
Oh, I've got it in mine. I swear the guy lives at the end of our road. We hear him constantly.
I know. I've got the window open because it's so cold. It's so cold.
It's so hot.
So
Yeah,
warm. That's
exactly.
the one. Oh, I think it's saying that we are live, so we'll just wait. I'm just
Woo!
going to, because we're live, share it in a few places and wait for some people to join. Share to groups. There, there, there. I'll try and share it name. Any other groups I want to share it to? Don't think so. There we go. Where else can we? Hi everyone that's joining. Thank you for, if you just bear with us while we're doing the sharey thing and making sure that the live stream's working. Hi Dean. Me and Bobby were just saying offline that Meta is not what it used to be for live streaming and stuff, and it's now almost like they're trying to make it as difficult as possible.
Right.
Have you shared it in different places, Bobs?
Say again?
Have you shared in different places, Bobs? Or
Oh, I literally just shared to my page in my group. That's it.
great stuff. Awesome. So yeah, we're in that awkward bit. So anyway, Bobbi, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Like we haven't just had this conversation 20 minutes ago. But yeah, thanks for joining us at Autistic Parents UK and coming and doing a live for us. We try and do these monthly actually, and just kind of treat them not just as like information sessions, but also kind of like an opportunity to connect with peers as well and feel a little bit more connected to other autistic parents, because we know that's really important. So yeah, thank you for
Yeah,
joining it.
absolutely my pleasure. As you know, I'm well into AP UK, but also so into doing anything with you because you are just a joy to work with. Absolute joy.
Oh, thanks, Bobs. Well, I'll try and maintain that today, but I'll warn you in advance, it has been a long day and brain may stop braining at some point.
Plus, it's hot. It's hot. Like, let's be
It's
realistic.
really,
It's
yeah.
you guys don't do aircon and it's hot.
I do have an air conditioning unit in here, actually, but
Yes.
if I switch it on, we won't hear anything.
No, of course. That's the other side of it. The ones over here are, yeah, a bit noisy to say the
Yeah,
least.
aren't they? But yeah, anywho, Bobbi, who are you? And what do you do? Who have you been? Tell us who you are. I mean,
So
I
I
take that question perfectly, personally, because I'm like,
well, I hate
wow.
talking about myself, so but I've gotten better at it. I've been told that, like you have to actually promote yourself for people to know who you are. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm Bobbi Elman. I'm an autistic parent, AuDHD actually, to two adult AuDHD children. My professionalism has gone well. I've worked in the community for probably around 20 years now. I have a post-grad in autism. And that was like sort of my first in, doing that. And as you well know, late diagnosed, because for the longest time, Bobbi didn't think she was autistic or ADHD at all. Until a certain couple of people reminded me that, Bob, I thought you knew.
I may or may not want to be one of those people
You
many
may or
years
may
ago.
not have been one of them. Yes. So
I feel like we've given our age away now, Bobs.
no, absolutely. No, absolutely. I haven't done a lot of work recently. I've just come out of like a 4-year medically induced definite burnout. And I'm just sort of emerging from that. So I'm happy as can be that you are my first live in about 4 years.
Yay! Yay, well done me. I'm hoping that don't disappoint. No pressure, no demands.
No, never a demand with me. No.
Never a demand. So I think your kind of remit or things that you were always early years. Early years has been your
Yeah,
bread and butter,
yeah,
hasn't
it
it?
still is always.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
But I
like them
don't
when they're
think you
young.
can. You can't like just do one set. Like you can specialize in one area, but I guess
Yeah,
it's kind of all relevant to all kinds of area of autistic experience, isn't it? So
yeah,
you
yeah,
chose to come and chat to us about hyperempathy.
yeah. I
Why?
did because
Why hyperempathy?
it's something that before I knew I was autistic, I knew that I was considered sensitive. And I was the one that my mom bought my sister and I two little dolls when we were little. My sister's doll had a mad face and she was angry, and mine was crying because I was continually called the crybaby in my home.
Mm.
Anything and everything. And I couldn't, there were so many times looking back now that I could not figure out if it was me feeling the emotion or if I was picking it up. I was the type of kid who walked into a room and could feel the vibe immediately and would sort of adjust myself accordingly. But it was really, really hard to figure out. And I think alexithymia came into it as well. We autistic people we struggle to sometimes describe the emotions that we're going through. So there was that combined with the fact that I just didn't know if it was me or if I was picking it up from everywhere else. And that's kind of why it's become a passion. I also see it in my youngest, and my youngest is also has exposure anxiety PDA, but also see it in them, and we react very differently. But it doesn't change the fact that my youngest is also just as hyper empathetic as I am. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and I think that's a really important thing that you said there because I think that this is I think a lot like over the years and the medical model kind of slant on everything and how we kind of look at things, assess things, consider things, etc., has kind of based a lot of stuff on an observational model of what
Yeah,
things should be rather than
yeah,
the internal experience. And we
yeah,
see this a lot with hyper, you can have like the same diagnosis and present completely differently. You can experience hyper empathy and deal with it completely differently. And I think that's one of the things that I'm really passionate about, like
yeah,
focusing on the internal experience to then
yeah,
interpret the external like presentation rather
yeah,
than the other way around. So I
yeah.
find it really interesting that you talk about how different things kind of present really differently. And I think that's really relevant to kind of hyper empathy as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as I said, so my youngest, because alexithymia comes in hard, and they will take a pause and sort of look for confirmation of, am I right in feeling this? Is this me or is this somebody else? Type
Mm,
thing. And as they've gotten older, it's gotten easier, and that's the point. Once you know about it, and you know yourself, you've gone through your autistic identity, and you
mm,
kind of understand where you fall and what
mm.
works for you. It understanding that helps you to deal with hyper empathy massively, like
Yeah.
massively.
And
You
just
need to understand all the ins and outs. You need to understand to alexithymia to the point of, that's why I couldn't put a word on it. That's why I couldn't put a feeling to what I was feeling when I was much, much younger. And it took me a
mm,
long time to figure that one out. But
yeah.
the older you get and the more you learn, I think the easier it becomes. And like you said, it's the interceptive. You have to understand that part of you to understand where this is coming from. Because I am that person that you turn on a specific advert and everybody else is like, oh, that's really sweet. And I'm bawling, like I'm crying my eyes out. I am that person where, honestly, Tanya, if you started crying now, I would be crying with you. That's the effective part of my, you know,
I
hyper.
also I also experienced this. It's the charity adverts that get me every single time.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Anything to do with animals, I'm gone.
I'm
I'm
done.
gone. I can't.
Specifically donkey sanctuaries as well.
Yes.
What is
Yes.
it about the donkeys?
I know. I know. It's because they're so sweet, and
Oh,
and
I
that's
don't know.
just
The
it.
poor I know. So for
And
anybody watching that doesn't understand what alexithymia is, because I understand that when we talk about autistic experience, there's an awful lot of things within like the community that can be really confusing. So alexithymia basically refers to difficulty or inability to feel or describe one's internal emotional experience. And
yeah,
this is like really, really common in people who've experienced trauma
yeah,
and neurodivergent people, autistic people, people
yeah,
with other things that might be categorized as mental illness.
yeah,
All of that is quite typical for for neurodivergent people, basically, for a myriad of different reasons. And it can be things like, we spoke with last month with Laura Helfold about hypermobility, and we talked about the impact that hypermobility has on the ability to interpret internal body signals into emotions. It can be masking contributes heavily
Yeah.
to the experience of interpreting and feeling emotions, because actually you might not trust what you're feeling is right.
So
And
spot on. So
yeah,
spot on.
we might have been like, gaslit and said, it's not loud, it's not bright, it's not
Yes.
scary.
Yes.
Um, and
Yes.
all of this feeds so heavily into hyper empathy. And this is what I was saying to you, Bobbi, wasn't it? That hyper empathy is it's a broad catch-all term for an
Yeah.
experience of intense emotions that are picked up from what we perceive as the environment, which
Yeah.
in its simplest term can be described as hyper empathy. But realistically, there are so many factors that you need to
Yeah.
consider. So
Yeah.
in terms of empathy, what do we mean when we talk about empathy, Bobs? Like, there are different kinds of empathy. Like,
Yeah,
do you want
yeah.
to
I
go
mean,
through that?
I break it down into three. There's the affective. So the affective is where I come in, and that's the immediate. I cannot control. It's unconscious, so I can't control how I actually react to something. So that advert comes on, and I'm crying, and it's
You
not
are
like I've even.
affected.
Yeah, I'm deeply affected by it. So it's immediate. It's unconscious. You don't actually control it, and it's here where I think people will notice that hyper empathy. Yeah, if you've got somebody, a young child, I'm with mine would just go quiet, and I knew. Yeah, not
Hmm.
crying or anything, but just very quiet, very still, and I knew that they were feeling something. So it's not always, like I said, and like Tanya says, it's varied for different people. You're going to have different reactions. Yeah. So, but it's also, we also have cognitive. Now, cognitive is where we think, we come in and we physically are trying to figure out what that other person is feeling. Right now, this is where alexithymia comes in beautifully, because if you don't have the language for it, you don't have the terminology for it as an autistic person, then how are you going to cognitively work through that? And I think that's where people see us as being non-empathetic, right? Because there's that weight, that stall, and I saw it in my children when they were very young. So something would happen, and they were trying to work it through and trying to figure out how to react, and it would take them a beat, yeah. And in that beat, they would look very unempathetic, but that's not what was going on in
And
their
the
head.
thing is, I think that we have to remember that, like, emotions are learned through co-regulation as well. So
Yes.
and I mean, I love working with Kelly Marler for this stuff, but she will always remind us that actually when you are born and you're an infant, you don't know that a certain pain or a certain feeling means hunger,
Yeah,
or that you want milk or whatever. It's only the fact that when you react to this pain, somebody comes and co-regulates and provides
exactly.
a solution to that,
Yep,
that you can then interpret that as hunger or whatever that might mean to you. And all those things mean different things to different people, because I always say nobody sees the color green the same, right? So
exactly,
why do we
exactly.
experience things the same? And language as well, when we're talking in terms of like alexithymia, can be really, really limiting,
Yeah,
because who just feels one thing at a time?
exactly, exactly, exactly.
There's always so many different things going. So it seems like very kind of I don't know,
It's a multitude
accurate.
of emotions. It's a layering of emotions that we have. You're 1,000% correct. I don't want to jump in on you, but we don't just feel one thing. We don't. So I could be feeling very sad about something, but there's another emotion behind that that might be scared or might be, whatever, right? So
And then
we
there's
don't
also
react in just one.
protective emotions,
Yeah, yeah,
protective emotions
yeah,
such as, I don't know, um when we think about trauma responses, fight, flight, freeze, right,
yep,
those are emotions, those are feelings. When we
absolutely,
feel aggressive, but most of the time they're covering some real vulnerability there. We actually
absolutely.
might feel scared, we actually might feel ashamed, we actually might feel a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a real tricky thing to experience. And I think as well with the co-regulation thing, I think that if you're continuously told that the way you experience the world as an autistic person is not the right way to experience it.
Mhm.
And I mean, I always think like if you're a neurotypical child, right, you go to school with predominantly neurotypical children. So
Hmm.
you are stuck in a school with maybe 300 kids in there.
Hmm.
And I don't know, 90% of them are neurotypical, showing you how to do the neurotypical thing. And the teachers
Absolutely.
are neurotypical. But
Absolutely.
actually, if you're not with autistic people, how do you know what your experience is, quote unquote, normal to your experience? You do not. So
Exactly.
where is the co-regulation
Exactly.
that
Which is one of
teaches
the reasons why
cognitive
the
empathy?
cognitive part, yeah, sorry to jump in again
No,
and
no.
do this with you. I don't mean to.
I
That's
do
why
it
the
all the time.
cognitive,
We're both
I
AuDHD.
know,
We'll
I know.
apologize in advance.
So that's why the cognitive part is so difficult for some, right? And that's where I think that most of the autistic experience is felt, because it does depend on all those things you just said. Everything you just said goes into that when we're trying to work out in our minds what that other person's thinking or feeling, right?
Mm.
Specifically what they're feeling and how you're going to react to that. So that's the cognitive. Now the last part I always say is the compassionate, and we autistic people are brilliant at that. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I have yet to meet an autistic person who wasn't a very compassionate in their empathy as well. And that's when we're driven to do something about it. And again, we can fall into a trap here because what we think is possibly the right thing to do is not. And this is where a lot of people will say that an autistic person isn't listening to them, because I'll tell them an experience and
Yeah.
we will tell them something that we've went through that's similar. And suddenly we're being told, no, you're made it all about you. But we're not. We're actually giving you that information because we're trying to share that experience, right?
We're trying to share that we've been in a similar experience so we know
Exactly.
how that feels. And I
Mhm.
guess if you don't have shared emotional language for that, then that's the next way to do it, is it not? Just bear
Yeah,
with me 1 second, Bobs. I'm being
of course.
blinded by the sun
No,
setting, right?
not a problem.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely not a problem. Take your time.
I'm literally going to be 1 second.
You're good.
Right. There we go.
So this is what I do. I quickly go on and try to see what people are saying in the comments, and then I get completely, I can't do comments. Sorry, I'm not going to do comments.
It's all right. I will do comments. Have I actually managed that? Have I made it worse? No, I've done it. I've fixed it. If I just switch
Woohoo!
to the left, we're fine. Yeah. So Dean was saying for them, he. No, let's have a look. I'm going to do scroll through the comments now.
Go for
Yes,
it.
Dean is saying, for me, I find it's not only responding to obvious visual displays of emotion, but it's also absorbing the covert emotions people are masking.
Yep.
It's like I can sense them and absorb them.
Yep.
Absolutely. And there are so many different reasons for this. And
Yeah.
like trauma is high up there as well. Like, let's
Yeah.
not.
But Dean, what you also described literally is hyper empathy. It's because that's what I mean, like walking into a room and feeling the vibe. You know, if I'm around somebody long enough, they could be smiling, but there's a vibe that comes off them that I'm feeding into, then I need to check myself to feel if I'm like, is that right? Am I, are they're smiling though? Why am I feeling that they're not happy? You get what I'm
And
saying?
also, I think that if we think about the different ways in which and the detail in which we process information, especially, monotropism is one of my like favorite special side quests,
Yep.
amongst many. We're constantly processing things in great detail. So while we may be, accused of not being able to necessarily communicate in a typical way, that means we're watching tone of voice, intonation, blah blah blah, and all that other stuff. I think it was a Moravian that said something like 79% of communication is not verbal, but
Yes.
we are monitoring it. We
Yes.
are monitoring it. So I think that we know when something is being concealed.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Absolutely.
Ab Dean was
Which is
saying the
really
last time.
problematic if you're growing up in a family that is causing you trauma, right?
Mhm.
So if you're in an environment as a child, like I was very, very young, and there's trauma being created, and then that comes in on top of it, it's sort of like, oh, it becomes one big
Because
knot that I have to unpick.
trauma puts you in a hyper aroused state consistently because your nervous
Absolutely.
system is hardwired to keep itself safe. And the way
Absolutely.
that it does that is by sensing potential incoming threat. And this
Yeah.
is that real age-old constant question. I mean, I can remember, I think I presented to the Clinical Excellence Network for some kind of speech and language stuff about, you know, is it trauma or is it autism?
Yes.
And they were really disappointed in my answer, because my answer was, you can't separate the two.
No, you can't. You
And
can't. In my
neither
opinion,
should.
you can't either.
I mean,
And if,
we have tools, we have things like the Cambridge and blah blah blah, but there's so much nuance, you know, that you know, autism is heritable. Autistic people are experiencing higher rates of like mate crime and kind of
yeah,
like social exclusion, mental health problems.
yeah.
You know, so the two things can't really be separated into neat little boxes.
No,
And
and
I
that brings you to the dangers of being hyper empathetic and not realizing it, right?
guess.
You just almost went into those, and that is the danger of it, isn't it? Of being in an unsafe, not realizing that you can be manipulated by narcissism, yeah, by narcissistic people, right? And mate crime, yeah, all of that. If you're not very strong in understanding that you are hyper empathetic, it
Mm.
can be very, 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 very difficult. I mean,
I
I
think
can,
that is also coupled with the constant questioning of yourself and the
yes,
assumption that you're in the wrong as well, which many
yes,
neurodivergent people have. So
yes.
if you're hyperempathic and you constantly come from a position where you are in the wrong, or you are interpreting this wrong, or etc etc etc, that can be a real dangerous combination,
Mm-hmm.
because how many times have you caught a vibe, and as I get, even like as a 41-year-old like I am that old, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
it keeps me young, but I'm
Wait till
joking,
you get to
I'm joking.
57, my love. Wait till you get to 57.
But even as you get older and you know yourself better, like that doubting one's own
Yes,
experience is still
yes.
so heavily ingrained in there. And
Yeah.
I almost wonder if that turns the hyper empathy up somewhat.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you in that respect. I think it
Constantly
would.
looking for evidence of your own.
1000%. And then the
Yeah,
other side of it is you go into self-medicating to just try to tamp it all down. And that was my
yeah,
teenage years.
yeah,
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 that
yeah.
literally was my teenage years. I needed it to stop. I needed it all to be quiet. I didn't understand why I was constantly being in these awkward, awful, dangerous even situations, because I didn't understand that I was autistic. And I certainly didn't realize that I was hyper empathetic at that time. So my teenage years were very, very fucking hard. Excuse my language. Sorry. Very,
That's all
very
right.
difficult. Very difficult. And that is exactly why I self-medicated, because I needed it
Yeah,
all to
I've
shut up.
as you probably know, I did a couple of bits of research actually, and some work with David Graham and Katie
Yes.
Mundy and Chris Papadopoulos around
Yeah.
autism and substance use.
Yeah.
And even the things that we knew, because it's not a widely researched field, but even the what we already knew about autism and like substance use, and by substances you can mean anything really that's
Yes. Of
excessive
course.
and is a substance, you know, it doesn't, we're not going to get into the moral
No.
legalities of available and not available, because that's not really my approach to that
No,
kind of stuff
neither here. I
anyway.
do not judge. It's not my, I don't go into that. No, it doesn't matter
But
to me.
what we do know is that autistic people generally do not seek substances
Yeah,
purely for like recreation at all.
exactly.
It's as a coping mechanism.
Yep.
And actually what we did find, which is really interesting, we can probably dig into it a little bit more, is that different presentations is probably not the right word, experience of being autistic meant the likelihood of, you know, whether you were assigned female at birth, whether you experienced ADHD, whether you got depression, kind of predicted which substances were most likely to, and that could be done backwards as well. So whichever
Yeah.
substance they were using could predict certain co-occurring conditions. So that's really
Yeah.
interesting. I'd love to have the time and spoons to dig more into that, because
I
actually
would
it's
love to dig
quite
into
fun.
that with you sometime, because that sounds absolutely
We'll
fascinating.
stick it on the very long and
Yeah.
distinguished list of things we have to do in this lifetime. But yeah, no, I would love to. I would love to have like three me's and be able to do all the stuff. But yeah,
Absolutely.
Dean was saying you'd be hard pressed to find an autistic that doesn't have trauma, and this was exactly my point. Much
Exactly.
to the disgust of the people that I was speaking to,
Yeah.
you cannot separate the two, nor should you try and
Yeah.
do so. And
Yeah.
actually, in terms of trauma, I think that as as a general human kind of population, we need to really rethink like the general understanding of trauma actually is as well. I mean, we've only just started acknowledging, like complex post-traumatic stress disorder, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that probably needs to be looked at in much broader terms and
Yeah,
much,
the parents I worked with and will hopefully work with again were always surprised by me when I said to them that, your child's been through some trauma just by being autistic. And they were like,
or even
but
just by being disabled, never
thank you.
mind specific
Thank you. Exactly.
neurodivergences and stuff. But, you know,
Exactly.
I think one of the most difficult conversations that I often have to have with like parents, or even like, because sometimes I still try and do some mentoring as and when I can fit it in, and I've got mentees that I had for a few years, is one of the first most difficult conversations that we have to have is getting comfortable with the understanding
Yeah.
that you or your child is disabled and what that means.
Yeah.
That means that life is going to be hard, difficult, and probably traumatic.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we're kind of stuck to where we can go with that,
Yeah. And it's
and
it's
that's a
hard
real
for
hard
parents
thing.
to deal with that. It's I understand. I'm very empathetic to the parents because I know that was something that I realized myself. Yeah, that when as I was learning about autism, I was doing my degree. It just Damien was one of my lecturers and became a really good friend, and we had lots of conversations about how what the environment does to young autistic children. You know what I'm saying, and how that just by being autistic, just by being disabled, just by being whatever, whatever it may be, there is trauma involved, whether you like it or not. It is what it is,
Mhm.
and that is a hard pill to swallow sometimes.
Even in different contexts, like you might understand yourself or your child as disabled in certain contexts, but not necessarily apply it. I mean, like internalized
Yes.
ableism is a real
Yes.
bitch, for lack of a
Yeah.
better word, and I think that we have to be, I know, without wanting to get too therapeutic with it, we really have to be kind to ourselves in the
Yeah.
context of internalized ableism, trauma, hyperempathy, our experiences,
Yeah.
and accept that, even in terms of like misogyny,
Yeah.
racism, all of that stuff is baked into the environment that we live in. And
Yep.
the best that we can do is keep reminding ourselves and pulling ourselves back and doing better.
Yeah.
Perfection isn't possible. Even for me,
No.
who's been doing this years and years and years, I still
Yeah.
beat myself. I'm my harshest critic, you
Same.
know?
Same.
Um,
And I think that's
and
what
that's
drives us. You know what I mean? That's what literally drives us to try to do better constantly. And you're right. We need to be kind to ourselves. And especially that's what I'm talking about when it comes to hyper empathy as well.
yeah,
The dangers that are there if you don't understand yourself. But if you do understand yourself, then you can better advocate for yourself. Do you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? It's like
I
it's
mean,
so much easier.
it's so much like, how did I know that I was sensitive to complex noise until I
Mm,
actually tried noise cancelling headphones?
exactly.
I didn't.
Exactly.
I just assumed that everybody experienced the same difficulties as I did,
Oh
and
God.
I was the one that was the broken problem.
Yeah, you just explained my entire existence up to the point where I got out diagnosed autistic. Like I'm not kidding you. That literally was my existence. I was like, I don't understand. So I'm not autistic. I can't be. But there's something definitely wrong with me. Do you know what I mean? And it's that internal ableism that you carry. And when you said before about how it heightens hyper empathy, it does. Absolutely, it heightens it. So
Well,
if
you
I'm
don't know, so all of your senses are sharpened, right?
yeah, one
And
thousand
that
percent,
includes the emotional kind of empathy sense.
absolutely.
I mean, Leanne's just commented that even when you are aware, holding protective boundaries is so exhausting and so draining.
Oh, I'm
So
so glad you mentioned boundaries. Go on, go, go.
I've had quite
You
a
go.
lot of success with this. And to be honest, it's taken years and years and years and years and years, even to the point of like, maybe was it like, I don't know, 7 to 10 years ago?
Mm,
When I think it was Dr. Chloe Farahar hosted a webinar on what are
hmm.
boundaries, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that makes sense. We're never taught what boundaries are.
Nope.
They're very much an abstract concept
Yeah.
until somebody actually sits down and explains what they are. Um, I have gotten better, a lot better at boundaries, and I've chosen to continually put myself in spaces professionally, which has meant that I've had to have them.
Yeah.
and found different ways of navigating why boundaries work for me. Like, we just had a discussion prior to coming on air, didn't we? Which
Yes.
is kind of relevant to boundaries about
Mhm.
because I work in social care mainly in quite complex and difficult situations on a regular basis. I am hyper empathic, promise you. That
Mm.
I can do fine. Donkeys with funny
No,
hue,
exactly.
done, done. But I was saying that one of the ways that I maintain boundaries and figure out where my own judgments and feelings are coming from is by working to frameworks, laws, and policies, and understanding how that ethically kind of ties into what I'm asked to do and what my
Yeah.
role is. So
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is your approach to boundaries doesn't necessarily need to be the neurotypical kind of you
Exactly.
need to come up with boundaries, etc.
Yeah, and they're very personal. They're very
Yeah.
individualized.
I
It's
mean,
the
yeah.
you
One
know
of
it's
mine is that I will I do have a rule. I will not deal with dysregulation unless I'm being paid for it or it's my kids. Just don't do it.
exactly.
And that's my boundary because I am hyper empathic. And it takes so much spoons because when I
Yeah,
do invest in it, I do it in so much detail that I need to protect my own peace. And that can be really difficult to
absolutely.
deal with. And the thing is, I guess when you are disabled, you need more boundaries.
Yeah.
And some people aren't going to like it. And that's
No, I
okay.
mean,
But that you
I'll
need
give you
boundaries.
a basic boundary for me is on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm not answering any emails. I'm not answering my phone. I'm not on social media. Like I do my best to just turn off because I need that because obviously both my adult children are still in the house because London. And I'm still very much an advocate for my youngest who and it the spoons, you do and then work on top of that. I need those 2 days now. And it's a new thing for me because I didn't do this before. I need those 2 days to completely decompress and watch whatever stupid crap on TV that I want to watch. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's a new boundary. And that's a different type of situation than what you were explaining. But it's still is very, very, very
A
important for
different
me
it's
that
a
I
way that works for you.
yeah,
Like for me, I will work compressed hours if you like, because when
yeah,
I hyper focus on something, the amount of work that I can produce is huge. But
yeah,
I will work 12-hour days on Mondays and Tuesdays,
yeah, yeah.
but I'll have Wednesdays and Fridays off, you know.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
and that works best for me because it works best for my processing and the way
Yep.
that because I don't like transitioning in and out of things. If I know I've got something to get done, I'll get it done. But
Yep.
and also, boundaries are something. I mean, I do get frequently annoyed at constantly having to maintain boundaries, and I think that's just because I was brought up to not have them. So it
Yeah.
always will feel slightly uncomfortable. But
Yeah.
like anything, whether it's, validating somebody's feelings, whether it's cognitive empathy, whether it's understanding your own experiences and feelings and what works for you, all of it takes practice. And
Yes.
that boundaries do as well, you know
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
it's really difficult. So one of the things, like I with my kids, one of the first things that I taught them to say is no thank you, and
Yeah.
silence,
Yeah.
staying in silence, not catching that ball, has been immense. It's been immense learning for me, and just learning to like sit in that silence and not need to fix it.
Yeah. And that right there is vital. The
Mm.
the sitting in the silence and not feeling to fix it. Because in me, I'm people said I was like a neurotypical guy because I always want to fix things. If somebody comes to me with something, I'm like, okay, so what do we do? How do we fix this? Blah, 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 blah. And
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 it's
sometimes they
because
don't want
that,
that.
yeah, and it's because that feeling of hyper empathy caused you
Mhm.
so much
Yep.
distress
Yep.
when it was theirs, not yours.
Yep.
And I guess that like I had to learn to stay within my remit and not fix things and to
Yeah.
go, this is uncomfortable, but this is not mine.
Exactly. That's exactly it. This is uncomfortable, but it's not mine. And
Yeah.
that's a big lesson that I think many people don't, they
I mean,
probably
I'm
need to
only
come to.
just mastering in it. I don't know if
Nah,
I ever will fully master it.
exactly.
I'm getting better at it.
Yep.
But I think as well that I've noticed that when I get pulled to fix something, that's essentially, you know, that's me. That's the hyper empathy speaking. That's the
Yeah.
trauma speaking. That's the
Yeah.
whatever we want to characterize it on.
Yeah.
It's not a genuine regulated response.
Exactly.
And that is
Exactly.
the thing that has really helped me differentiate
Yeah.
and navigate hyper
Yeah.
empathy and big
Yeah.
feelings in general, big
Yeah.
feelings of anger. Like if I get an urge from my chest to respond immediately. And this is the thing as well. I think for me, one of the things that helped me is instead of thinking about emotion words, I would identify where certain feelings were in my body,
Mm,
you know. So like I am highly in tune to manipulation,
mm,
like really and dry begging, or when somebody is not aware that they're trying to manipulate, you know, I'm highly attuned to it to the point where it will immediately, I'll get that response, like I
yes.
can feel it,
Yes.
and I know that I'm immediately being dragged into something and it's trying to elicit a hyper empathic response or a
Yep.
trauma, you know, and drag you into
Yeah.
that kind of drama triangle. But that's helped me
Yeah.
interpreting where I'm feeling certain things in my body rather than what
Yeah.
emotion is that, or
Yeah.
how, when have I felt this feeling before,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
So the 4 years that I was unwell was a wake up call because I was in complete and utter burnout. And I know why I got so ill was because I was so beyond overstressed at my death of my mother and all of that. And it was like the endocrinologist said to me, "Have you been sick or did you go through any sort of major trauma recently?" I'm like, "Wow, let me tell you." Um, but it gave me time and it made me realize how many times my hyper empathy was getting in the way and I would defensively respond to something.
And also when you're focused on the outside, right? You're not
Mm,
looking and processing what's on the inside. So
mm,
there is an element of avoidance about hyperempathy as
yes,
well. You know,
absolutely.
I mean, Leanne's just
Absolutely.
saying here that they've currently paused supporting others because because burnout leaves me too vulnerable.
Yeah.
I end up giving what I don't have.
Yeah.
And then Dean, um, this is useful actually. Dean was saying, having learned to respect my own boundaries rather than swallowing down my needs for everyone else's benefit, learning to
Yes.
never should myself. Yeah. So mine is, can you just? If you
Mm.
ever say those words to me, just know that the response is not going to be a pretty one. Can you just? There is never a just, is there? You know?
No, no, not at all. There
And I
never is.
think, and again, it's like we were saying, it's being able to catch that kind of, I don't need to solve your feelings for you. I
Yeah.
don't need to solve your distress. I can choose to assist you as
Yeah.
an autonomous adult, but you are trying to throw me your problems to solve and I'm not catching them.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's you just put it in a nutshell. That's hyper empathy when you're not having your boundaries, when you're not understanding your reactions and what triggers you and the separation. That was me. I constantly was like, okay, I'll take this, I'll take on this problem and I'll try and fix it for them. And it was like everybody around me is going, why are you doing that?
And actually, it's not about them, it's about you
Exactly.
and your need to
Exactly.
feel okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then imposter syndrome and the fear of being left out, and all of that, combine all of that trauma, combine, and you can be literally pushed down underneath of it all, not even realize it. Because you're
Mhm.
not, like you said before, trying to avoid the fact that you're hyper empathetic and
And
not wanting to deal
focusing
with
on the
it.
inside. And the thing is, the more you avoid those, what I tend to find anyway, the more you avoid like feeling those feelings, for
Yeah.
example, and go, oh, I need to stop this, the bigger
Yeah.
it gets. So the worse
Yeah.
the problem becomes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, you
And
know,
and
and there's
just
a lot of demand avoidance tied
yeah.
into
Yeah.
extreme, intense internal experiences as well of
Absolutely.
empathy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
And it's
even just understanding that not everybody experiences empathy in the
thank you.
same way,
Thank
to the
you.
same intensity, same
Thank
as
you.
people don't hear the same or see the same or
Yep.
touch the same, you know?
Yeah. That's why
That
I get
was
so angry
wild
with
to me.
people when they go off about God, what's Thunberg? What's her name? What's her first name?
Greta.
Oh, yes, thank you. When they go off about her and say about, oh, she's just trying to make a name for herself, or, she's only doing this for the clout and stuff like that. I'm like, I see an extremely, compassion, empathy person right there. She is driven to do what she does. Like you know it and you can see it when it's there, right?
Mm,
Am I wrong?
yeah, no,
And I
no.
get so
I
angry
think
because
she is.
people are missing it.
Yeah, but I think that people, and this is the empathy thing, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, you
I
know
think
it.
that autistic people are often said that we don't have empathy or
Yeah,
etc. But in actual fact, I think that there's probably a chronic empathy deficit across the board in some respects,
I agree. I
you know?
agree.
And it
And
comes down to double empathy because I don't think double empathy is just a neurotype specific thing,
no,
as we
exactly.
know.
Exactly. No,
It was
it comes
based
in.
originally
Yeah.
on code switching.
Yeah.
And that was about communicating between, different races, black and white people, and
Yeah.
how black people had to code switch their communication,
Exactly.
you know. And that's where I think, was it Mary? I can't remember, that came up with triple empathy.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. Yeah. Which is really,
yeah,
really intriguing to me.
yeah, because that was, and it's just really the consideration of the intersectional context of all the different things that um really kind of impact a person's empathetic perspective. I will get that
Yeah.
word out. You know, that's
Yeah.
that's what it's explaining.
Yeah.
Dean was saying, I think we autistics offer genuine empathy in a world that has conflated empathy with sympathy.
Exactly.
I think there is a lot of performance around empathy, and I think maybe we just don't have the spoons for the performance. I mean,
No, and it feels fake. Like I can't do that. Like I'm not
no,
just, I'm so being diagnosed autistic was literally an exhale because for the first time I was like, you know what? I hate small talk. I hate this stuff. I don't have to do it anymore. I have a
but
reason.
none
I
of
know
those
why I
things.
don't like it.
I mean, none of those things make sense. I mean, it's similar, like, so performative sympathy, right?
Thank you.
Small talk,
Yeah.
managing other people's perception of you, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
When energy is your most precious commodity, it is no wonder that a lot of us struggle with the concept of time because
Yeah.
we actually don't measure things in time, we measure things in
Mm.
spoons.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is why I've got myself into so much trouble over the years by going, sure, I'll do that. It seems really simple.
Yes. Yeah.
5 hours later, it was really simple, but dramatically underestimated the amount of time it would take to do, you know?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
always say that, is it no wonder we're time blind? Because our most precious commodity is literal cognitive energy. It's spoon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
And that the 4 years taught me that as well, right?
mhm,
It taught me that, okay, wait a minute, you got kicked and you got
mhm.
kicked pretty hard. You do not want to be in that space again. So let's, number one, actually pay attention to the body and to the interoception. That would be quite nice. Number two, put your boundaries in place and keep them in place and keep them very firm. It's amazing to me that it took me so long to realize that other aspect of it. Like I understood that I was hyper empathetic. I understood, oh, book learning autism. I get it. I know what my supposed, differences are and all of that. But the individualization of that all
I think
and having the
yeah, this
and
goes
having the
back to
time to realize it.
this goes back to what Leanne said in the comments as well about being in burnout. I think
Mm,
that while burnout is one of the most awful things ever, um, I kind of struggle with the concept of burnout recovery because it's not recovery.
no,
Recovery is like you want to get back to how things were before. And I
yeah,
think that
no.
burnout fundamentally, it tries to teach us something.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
and
exactly
we have
that.
that we sometimes get to a position where we have no choice but to listen.
Yeah,
Um, and while it's frustrating and debilitating and you lose skills, it can sometimes be an opportunity to realize that, the way that I've been doing things and the speed at which I've been doing
Yeah.
things is not sustainable.
Yeah.
So
That,
actually, I
that's
think when
big.
we're looking at burnout, we need to really be moving towards a kind of rehabilitation rather
Yes.
than recovery. Because
Yes.
if you want to go to what you were doing before,
It's not going to happen.
it's defeat the point of the burnout in the first place.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so you have to adapt and find ways and go, do you know what? Like Leanne was saying, the way that I've been doing things has been burning me out
Hmm.
emotionally because I'm giving too much.
Hmm.
How do I balance my boundaries with what I'm giving, and how do I make it sustainable for me and others? And why
Mm.
am I giving this much of myself?
Yes.
Why
See,
am
it's
I
that
giving
part.
this much?
It's that part. Why am I giving this much of myself? Why do I feel like I have to give everything away in that respect
Mm.
when it's vital that I keep something, and maybe I'm burning out because exactly that. I'm
And
just
let me
continually
tell
giving
you,
myself away.
like, it's not a one and done thing. It's not a
No,
one realize and done. Like every single
no.
time we speak to neurokin or share an experience or experience burnout or, like I always say that, I mean, I've done research, I've done a bit of academia, I've done speaking and, at these very
Hmm.
important places and stuff like that. But actually, I don't think I will ever stop doing the actual work because it
No.
is such a
Yeah.
privilege to be
Same.
amongst the diverse experiences of people and to position yourself in that and to understand
Yeah.
the diversity of neurodivergence and people and how it interacts and so on and so forth. And actually, I couldn't have done none of the research or the blogs or the monotropism stuff without that knowledge and experience and
Of course.
positioning myself in it as well.
Of course. And you need to realize that's your compassion and empathy right there. The fact that
Oh,
you're saying, I will never stop working is that drive. And that's what I was saying before about, I think autistic people, we have that in abundance. Like
see,
we,
I always think about being an academic and like, I kind of don't fit in that shape anyway. But then I'm like, for me and what drives me, and I'm not saying that this is everybody else, but what is the point in having that knowledge and then
yeah,
it's stopping?
yeah,
I just
exactly.
think that would cripple me,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
emotionally,
Yeah.
you know.
And I think
It,
that's why most of us are doing it. I mean, think about the people that we know, the colleagues that we've worked with. Think about all the people that we know and the fact that, I know a number of times where a couple of them hit burnout completely because it was just constant too much and they gave too much of themselves away. And when add hyper empathy to that as well, it's a proper kick.
yeah. And
You
we need
have
to,
to realize it and listen to it, because if you're not listening to it and try to do it again, that cycle's just going to repeat and repeat and repeat.
and Leanne's saying that they now finally recognise that this doesn't serve me when burnout creeps up on me. And
Mhm.
that's the thing, it's a constant thing.
Yeah,
And Leanne's also saying can't do half measures in whatever I'm working in or interested on. Has to be
exactly.
all in.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And
yeah,
basically, what I'm trying to
they
say,
can't care less. And I
yeah,
think that's the misconception, isn't it? It's not about caring
no,
less
no,
at
it's not.
all.
No, it's
It's
not.
about understanding the purpose of that care and what you're trying to achieve, right?
Yes,
If
yes,
my drive to fix really pushes my boundaries, my professional capacity, I'm not being caring.
exactly,
I'm not providing care. I'm
exactly.
not like respecting another person's autonomy.
Yep,
I'm not assuming capacity. I'm
yep.
putting myself in a position where I need to fix for.
Mhm.
And that 9 times out of 10 is not what a person wants. They don't need
No,
rescuing.
no, exactly. But and it's that drive. That's the compassionate drive. That's the compassionate empathy drive to feel like I've got to run in there and I've got to fix it all for you. And that's so strong in
So
me.
actually, the caring more
Yes,
and the acceptance of that caring more, it actually helps me understand the importance of holding myself back.
exactly, exactly.
Um,
exactly, because you
And
can't.
I'm still practicing. Don't get me
No,
wrong. Like, if
absolutely.
I'm
And
getting it
it's
right
a
60% of the time, I'm
yeah,
doing
no,
well.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a constant flow and it's an ebb and flow. And there are days where I can do more and there are days where I cannot. It is what it is. But it's understanding that somebody said to me a long time ago, when I was constantly trying to be there for my children, and they were like, I'm not seeing Bobbi anymore. I'm just seeing your kid's mom. Like, where are
Mm.
you and where are you taking time for yourself? I was so wrapped up in them that it was detrimental to my health. I had Ehlers-Danlos at the time. I didn't walk for 2 years at one point, but yet still felt like I needed just everything, constantly, constantly. It was like, you're not allowing them to fail either, Bob, right? You're not allowing them to grow. And you're just swooping in all the time because you constantly want to fix things, constantly want to make things better, constantly want to smooth things over. And that's the trauma of my childhood creeping up on me. And that's where the compassion and empathy is not
Mm.
serving me. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not helping me, you know?
yeah. And it's really not about caring less, because I
No,
don't think
exactly.
I could care less, or I would want to care less.
Yes.
It's like we talked about imposter syndrome earlier. And I think that the thing is, I don't necessarily see things as net good or net bad. I see
Mm,
the world as complex, and
mm,
my own experience is complex. And the thing is, right, if I didn't double and triple check my decision making, then I wouldn't be good at what I did,
exactly.
and I wouldn't be confident in what I did. So
Yeah.
I guess what we're trying to say is everything has advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Absolutely. But if you don't look after yourself, you can't look after others. That's the major point I'm trying to make, you
yeah,
know?
exactly that. And that's where we have to figure out, like, we care deeply,
Mm,
but how do we make this sustainable so we can continue to care deeply,
hmm.
right? Because otherwise we're going to burn out
Yep.
and not be able to maintain it. And
Yep.
especially when it's your children as well. And it's that putting on your
Yeah.
own oxygen mask first, isn't it?
It is. It is. And that's why to
Mhm.
this day, I'm so grateful for that family friend who pulled me inside and was like, Bob, come on, you
Yeah.
know?
And the opposite to hyper empathy isn't cold, callous, and unfeeling.
No.
And I think if we are feeling that because we're having boundaries, then maybe that's something that we also need to address.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's really
Absolutely.
difficult. So
Yeah.
John's just asked, I was wondering if anyone also experiences a strong bias towards being empathetic to whoever is in front of you. I think I can care a lot about a person or a situation who is right there,
Yeah.
but it can almost totally disappear when they're no longer in front of me. Object
That's
permanent.
object permanence. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is a very real experience,
So
and of course
do
it
you
makes
want to
sense.
explain object permanence, Bobs? Or shall I do it?
Oh, I mean, I say it is like I say it to the point where if it's not in front, if it's not in, the thing is not in front of me, then they don't know it. If it's not in front of the person, they don't know it exists. Or if it's not in front of me, I don't know it exists. I don't deal with that, but I know I've dealt with a lot of people and a lot of children who have. And the
I
idea
do.
of, you're
Yeah.
gonna say it better than me. Go for it.
I absolutely love monotropism for the understanding of object permanence, right? We
There you
have a
go.
finite amount of attentional resource. We feel things and we pay attention to things a lot more deeply, which means our attention is spread over fewer things but at more depth.
Yeah.
That means that things that are not right in front of us,
There you go.
that you can feel deeply that are right in front of you,
There you
when they're
go.
not right in front of you, you're dealing with the other things that are right in front of you. So that can fall out of your frame of attentional resource, if you like.
Yeah.
A little bit why, when I'm working, for example, I need a nest. I need everything around me that I could possibly need to put my hand on, because if I don't see it, it doesn't exist. It's gone.
You're describing what's around me now. I've got a fan. I've got my drink.
I've got my drink, I've got my phone, I've got a cup of tea, I've got yeah. And I think David talks about nesting as well. Like
Yeah.
when you're ill, it's like making a space with everything you need in it to feel
Yeah.
good and feel comfortable,
Yeah.
and making things more accessible. For example, I
Yeah.
know that, object permanence in terms of like ARFID or, food differences. for
Yeah.
example, that can be a huge thing, because if
Yeah,
it's
of
not in
course it
front
is.
of you, you won't necessarily realize that you're hungry and that food's an option. So you
Yeah,
have to get food
absolutely.
scattered around that's easily
Yeah.
accessible and doesn't take many spoons or
Yeah.
require splitting of attention.
Yeah.
There are so many things that object permanence comes into.
Yeah.
And actually, I would say, you know, that probably hyper empathy as well.
Absolutely. I
Um,
mean, I was going to say
and
my
another
youngest.
danger as
Yeah.
well is it can really impair your judgment, because if you're experiencing hyper empathy towards a person that's right in front of you, for example,
Hmm.
um it may not necessarily allow you to form a balanced judgment about the whole situation involving other people.
Totally.
So it means that you can quite often get roped into being what's called a flying monkey.
Yeah.
So if you're displaying a lot of
Yeah.
empathy towards just the person that's in front of you, it can really impact you experiencing that cognitive empathy towards what might be the experience on the other side of that experience, for example.
Exactly.
And you can
Exactly.
end up being that person's advocate and champion, and the other person's in the wrong, and blah, blah, blah. And actually, it might just be your hyper empathy clouding your ability to see things as balanced. Now,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that neither person is in the wrong about what their experience might be. Um, it just means that there are different experiences on either side and both are valid. And that's such a difficult thing. And that probably leans into why a lot of autistic people can be told that they're black and white thinking,
Yeah.
right or wrong, or I'm on this person's side or I'm on that person's side, and
Yeah.
lacking nuance.
Yeah.
Because I suppose when you're overwhelmed with such a lot of empathy and like, advocacy is the one thing, when you're fighting the local
Totally.
authority and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and all the
Absolutely.
rest of it, you know, you got to be balanced. You got to be impartial. You got to be critical.
Yeah.
Um, and again, I
It's,
think how I had to learn that was through research,
yeah. 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 So
understanding
all
the
I was going to
academic
say is my,
importance of criticality.
yeah. So the other side of the affective and that I that just pumped into my mind, that's also quite a dangerous situation. So in that flying monkey ideology, right?
Mm.
If somebody has a go at somebody that I care about deeply in any way, shape, or form, I'm like the bodyguard that comes in automatic. Like I don't even. It's the effective combined with the compassionate hit all at once, and I am that flying monkey. I will fly, and then I'm stopping afterwards and realizing, oh, maybe I didn't see that whole story. Maybe I don't know the whole thing there, but I've jumped right in. Bob, why are you doing that?
You've
Another
not
big
been
lesson.
balanced. You've not waited for the evidence to,
Mhm. Yep.
and I think that's kind of the difference where I had to learn the hard way, the difference between validating somebody's experience and being there for them and trying to fix or judge
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
and that's what we
Yeah.
talked about earlier. Like, I think, I don't know about you, but I had to learn how that felt in my body when I felt compelled.
Totally. Totally.
And it can only be described as feeling compelled.
Yeah.
And I think
Totally.
when I'm pulled in that way, it's not coming from a regulated place inside
Yeah.
me and a balanced
Exactly.
place. So I need to look at it harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I take a beat. I literally will. I literally realize it now. And like I said, 57 years old, it took me long enough, but realize it now and then take a beat. Just wait a second. Like, wait, just wait before you start diving in. Think this through a little bit further. Look at any other sides that you can. And then if you want to wade in, fair enough. It's much more nuanced. It's much more coming from a place of knowledge and trust rather than I'm just going to fly at you because my effective and my compassionate have overdrove,
And it's
overrided everything.
so difficult as an
Yeah.
ADHD as well, because
Thank
like,
you.
boom, impulse,
Thank you.
impulse.
Thank you.
But I think the only thing that I can really say about that is when you do feel pulled in that way, be curious.
Yeah.
But be
Yeah.
curious with yourself, like, where is this coming from? Is this a balanced
Absolutely.
version of me? Is this
Yep.
this? Is this that? Am I
Yep.
feeling flooded right now?
Yep.
Do I need to take myself away? Why am I actually feeling dysregulated?
Yep.
And is this experience making me feel dysregulated and I'm just wanting to react to get rid of it?
Yeah.
Um, so I think you know, it's just getting curious about your own internal experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to. You have to. There's no other way, because in the end of the day, you're not falling into that trap of jumping in, wading in, and then afterwards going, oh,
Mm.
darn, I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have said that, or whatever it may be. It is literally taking a beat. And I know where it comes from with me. The reason I jump in is because I know I was being bullied as a child. I was not that one that people stood up for. So I that's the trauma response
You
in me.
know
That's
me,
why I
love an
weighed in,
underdog, Bobs, love an underdog. I mean, look what
you
happened
know?
with Boycott Spectrum 10K. I mean,
Yeah,
a whole bunch of underdogs
yeah,
with hyper empathy.
yeah,
And it does have, and like I said, nothing is net bad or net good, because actually some of the things as a community that we've actually achieved
yeah,
because of that drive, when you talked about Greta Thunberg, we
yeah,
talk about the research and stuff that we primarily do for free.
yeah.
And all of that stuff, it's driven by a genuine need
Hmm.
of compassion and being a compassionate and empathetic person.
Yep,
But I've had to learn that if that is my true driver, then I need to rein myself in and think about how to achieve the best compassionate outcome.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
Dean was saying that was a game changer for him, realizing that people will often want validation rather than reassurance or a
Yeah,
solution,
yeah,
because validation is about being seen, and that's so important. Yeah. And I
yeah.
think I'm still learning. I think I still find validation quite clunky because my
Mm,
instinct is want to fix it.
yeah,
That's how I'm programmed. But
yeah.
making people feel understood and heard,
Mm,
and narrating what they're experiencing and saying that actually your feelings are really valid
yeah.
and I can see that you're upset. And also, it's like we said, learning to sit in the silence, isn't it? It's learning to
Yes.
sit with other people and their discomfort
Yeah.
and not drown in it.
Yeah.
And actually,
Absolutely.
I had to think about, if I'm so driven by compassion, right? Then when I'm in those situations where other people are struggling, it's not my place to make it about me. And that worked
Exactly.
for me,
Yeah.
and actually, what does that person need from me? They need a
Yeah.
co-regulator. They
Yeah.
need me to be regulated. They need me to understand that it's not my pain to carry, but
Yeah.
I will sit with them while they work through it.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly. And it's
and it's
vital. People
tough.
just sometimes that's what's needed, and you can miss that,
And
right? If
actually,
you're not paying
sometimes you're not the
attention.
most appropriate person to sit with that.
Exactly.
For them. Your
Exactly.
role in
There's,
whatever might be happening might mean that
yeah.
it's completely inappropriate for you to do that.
Yeah.
And I guess it's like, without sounding too kind of like wishy-washy, it's about the greater good, isn't it? And the outcome. What is the outcome that you are motivated to want to achieve?
Absolutely. It is about outcome. That's not wishy-washy at all. It is literally about outcome. What is the outcome that is best for them
Hmm.
and best for you?
And what are you driven by? And I think I am driven
Yeah.
by impact. And actually, sometimes it's not me.
Yeah.
And Dean was saying, whereas before I was compelled to fix others' problems because I felt I'd failed them if I didn't fix it. And that's the crux of the issue, isn't it? And I think
Yep.
this is something, and there's still, I think, part of us all in advocacy and kind of activism, I mean, the charity work, we do it for free,
Yeah. Yeah. We do.
Um,
Exactly.
but I think there's something in us all that will always have that. But I guess it's like, if you are driven by compassion, then to round up, I think what I would say is that we really need to think
Mhm,
about how that's received by the other person, not how it's
mhm.
experienced by us. And what is
Absolutely.
it that the other person want? Because is it truly compassionate if it's not about the outcome for the other people and it's about
Exactly.
ours? It's not.
It's not. That's 100% spot on. And the only thing I would actually add to that is look at your effective. When you
Mm.
actually are reacting to something and you immediately react, it's an unconscious thing, but you immediately react. You can actually look into that and think, okay, so why did I cry about those donkeys?
I mean, because
Oh,
donkeys are
I
just
know
good.
why. Because
It's
they
because
look
they're
like they
helpful.
need help. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, right?
So for me, right, and you would probably find this hilariously funny, right? I can deal with some really dark awful things and keep it together,
Yeah.
because I feel like I can contribute to that in some small way
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
creates an outcome
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that might be slightly improved, different, altered, whatever, right? I
Yeah.
believe in complexity. I don't believe there is any right or wrong, just more sad stories behind more sad stories behind more sad stories, creating
I agree.
different outcomes.
I agree.
But I can't help the bloody donkeys, can I?
Exactly.
So that is why the donkeys
Exactly.
get me every single time.
No, totally. That's exactly, you're so spot on that, because that's
And that's
exactly
exactly
it.
why I don't watch the news.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Can't do
that's what I
anything
mean by
about it.
pay attention to your effective. If you're effective as being constantly triggered because you're watching the news, like, this is serious. I had to turn down what's happening in the States.
Don't watch
American.
the news.
I just can't. I can't see what's happening. I can't deal with what's happening. No, will I go back until he's gone? No, I will not. So it's
And
almost
you just
like,
say it. The change and the challenge happens at the edge of the comfort zone as well. Like
yeah.
the worst thing, and we always say this with like autistic kids when they're going, "Oh, you just need to force them into school, it'll be fine, they'll get used to it." No, no, no,
Oh,
no, no.
no.
Do we need to challenge? Do we need to stretch? Absolutely, yes, we do. In
Yes.
context, as parents, we definitely do,
Yeah.
especially with in burnout. We
Yeah.
do need to recover, but um I'm not saying that we should expose ourselves continuously to an empathic onslaught, but
Exactly.
what we can start doing is practicing small boundaries. And
That's
those
it.
small boundaries get easier, and then we can practice bigger boundaries. And then we can
Spot
practice
on.
validation instead of rescuing. And that's how we do it. We just practice, 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 practice. Because like we said, emotion, it's a co-regulatory experience.
Yes.
Nobody knows what they feel. Nobody is born knowing what they feel. And we
Exactly.
learn ourselves from experiences with others. And that is why community is so important to autistic
Yeah.
people, because
Yeah.
not only does it combat minority stress, thanks Monique Botha for that one, but it also teaches us about ourselves and our own experiences, and it shares ideas with
Yeah.
people with the same experiences of being in neurology,
Yeah.
and you learn things about yourself and all
Yeah.
of those things that neurotypical people probably take for granted.
Hmm.
The cultural importance of being around people that experience what you do,
Hmm.
it cannot be understated, I think, and
It
that's why
really
these
can't.
conversations are really important.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you see, this is one of the reasons why I love doing these things with you,
Yeah, why?
because it's so brilliant. You're so spot on. Like, you've got it just absolutely spot on, and I think sometimes I'm definitely not academic in any way, shape, or form, regardless of the degree.
I
Um,
honestly, I'm still convinced that I've winged it this whole time.
it's wild, right? When you finish it, you're like, how did I do that? Like, I don't know how I did that.
I still don't know. So the ironic thing is that anybody who knows me will know how I'm such an unacademic person that was dragged up on a council estate somewhere in the north with
Mhm.
no GCSEs or anything. So I don't know how I ended. And that is the power of interest and
Thank you.
compassion
Yeah.
and empathy
Yeah.
and belief in a subject and a curiosity and a
Yeah.
want to better and a want to learn. And one of the things that I'm most driven about, probably because of my hyper empathy and how I've worked on myself, is helping people understand their own experience and make sense of it.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that's why I'm really passionate about when we did Spectrum 10K, it was really passionate about the easy read stuff.
Yeah.
When we talk about like monotropism or monotropic split, like I don't want to talk about these concepts unless I've got a way to like almost explain it to a 5-year-old.
Yeah. No, totally.
Um,
Absolutely.
because I think if we're writing for academics, then what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, I will always reference, and I'm probably going to drop a swear, one of my mentors up at Sheffield when I did my master's in autism, Stephen Connolly, Dr. Stephen Connolly. What was it? If you read an academic paper and you can't make any sense of it, it's probably shit
Yes.
because it's not supposed to be understood.
And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I really like you, because you don't speak academically. You bring it
No.
to normal language, which is very much understood. The monotropic split, the way you explain that in very, very easy terms is amazing, because it actually helps other people understand. you know? Does that make sense to you? Like
Yeah,
it's
and I guess that's just an example of looking at what you're motivated by
yeah,
and how you can create a bounded impact
yeah,
with that, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
changes.
Using your compassion and empathy. Thank you.
Bingo. Anyway, I think that wraps us up nicely, Bobs.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us. Next month, I believe we may have Kathy Long. So
Woo!
what's this space?
Nice.
Yeah, Kathy is, I think she's doing a PhD now about
Mm,
kind of discrimination experienced by
mm,
autistic mothers. So that's going to be
mm.
a pretty broad and wild discussion. We haven't got a
That'll be
date yet, but
brilliant.
as soon as we nail one down, we'll advertise it.
That's brilliant.
And yeah, and I love doing these little lives. We used to do a lot more of them, but we don't
Yeah,
have time or spoons anymore. So we try and keep here as much as we
exactly.
can. But yeah, thanks for joining us,
No, thank
everybody.
you. And if
And
you ever need me for anything any other time, you know where I am.
oh, don't worry, we'll come knocking for more. Don't you worry about that. In the name of charity, shaking the tin. But yeah, so yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. And just so you know, this, I think the recording stays on the Facebook platform for a certain amount of time, but we do upload it probably in a few days or a week or so to our
Brilliant.
YouTube as well. And I think
Brilliant.
we've got an archive where people can request recordings as well, because often when we support autistic parents struggling with certain things, we'll send them links to the Q&As
Yeah.
and webinars that we've done previously as well. So yeah,
Nice. Your
thank,
resources must be building up really nicely. That's brilliant.
I mean, you've never got enough, have you?
No, I know.
You've never got enough. Never got enough. But anyway, thank you for joining us. And yeah, we'll catch you next month. Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.